Just finished up one of our heavy work days, what we are typically our Wednesday practice, and it's good to see a lot of our guys have gotten healthier. Probably the only one of our players that has had a difficult time returning from injury is Tony Brooks James. But aside from that, we feel that the guys that had been nicked up during the course of the season will be able to play for us on Monday night or Monday afternoon, I should say. A couple guys went down with the flu or whatnot, but nothing serious, nothing that we feel is going to hold them back from game day. But overall, just really appreciative of everything, the way the bowl representatives and committee have bent over backwards to really make this a really enjoyable stay, a very, I would say, just easy transitions from the practice fields to the facilities to making sure the hotel's done an unbelievable job providing meeting rooms and space to be able to walk through and review what we need to as we game prep for Michigan State. So all in all, it's been a great experience, and we're getting closer to game time now, 72 hours out, a little bit less, and important obviously for our guys to really start zeroing in on the task at hand and understanding the challenge that we have.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. Just state your affiliate, your name, and fire away.
Yeah, Austin, Dallas were full go today. Schooler was still a little bit run down, so we held him out from a precautionary standpoint, but don't expect any issues with him. We still have 2 more practice days leading up to the game. We expect Brendan to be back full go by tomorrow.
Mario, when did Justin tell you he was coming back, and what was your reaction?
That's top secret now. That'll never come out. But obviously a tremendous explosion of just emotion and gratitude for him, his family, for their trust in us and confidence in us to continue his development. And he has set some really high goals and expectations and standards for himself. And it's our obligation to make sure that he achieves that. He reaches, those expectations. And a big part of it is, of course, his teammates, and the program and everything he grew up loving and believing in. So, but in terms of the actual date, like when I knew, I apologize for that one. I can't let that one out. But it was totally his decision. We provide information, and just proud of him for just doing what he feels is the best for him and for his future.
Mario, when you talk about his improvement, where do you see that he needs to go within the college ranks within another year?
I think what every quarterback has to do. Every quarterback will always want to continue just having a full grasp and understanding of everything that's done on offense. By the time a quarterback's a senior, you want to be like an offensive coordinator where he could call it himself, and he's fastly approaching that. As it relates to, we've talked about it before, the way he can handle and manage and turn protections, the way he understands when we are or not in an advantage run or a protection that's a little bit short of what it needs to be able to have a successful play. I think he's done a great job of communicating with us what he likes against particular coverages. So all that, I think, is continuing to get better and better. He's also continuing to step up as a leader, which I know it's something that, every quarterback, it's essential for a guy to be able to lead the room. He's doing a great job with that as well. So we want to, we want to keep also enhancing the supporting cast, the ability to develop more playmakers around him, to be able always to protect him better, but to challenge him, really, to challenge him to be able to do everything, the great ones can do, and we feel he's well on his way there.
Mario, Warren Williams, where you got the names. I know you want to do the best for the players, for themselves and for their families, but how significant is that, having that much time, knowing that he's going to come back? I guess that gives a lot of unsettled, what could have been unsettled news for the coaching staff to know that he's going to be back next year.
No, it's tremendous news, right? Without question, you arguably one of the best players in America, is coming back for a senior season. And a guy, even more importantly, it's a guy that doesn't just feel he's arrived. It's a guy that he prides himself on improvement. He prides himself on getting himself and those around him better. And knowing that he is coming back intact with, I believe, we return all 11, or could return all 11 starters on offense. It's something that you always strive for, right? You always want to stack and layer your program from a recruiting standpoint, a personnel acquisition standpoint, where you could have a junior and senior laden offense and defense. And now we have that opportunity. And so it really bodes well for him, for us, for the offense, for the team, for the future of the program. A lot of things really falling into place with that announcement. And, you know, I think saying that we're thrilled is the understatement of the year. Well, I mean, I'm sure it plays into it. I know I had a chance to play with my brother back in, you know, like 4, 5, 6 decades ago, and it's a big thing. I know it's something that you take pride in. It's something that you do dream of. I mean, it's really special. But you know, it's something that I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into his decision. And, you know, you're talking about a super high IQ guy, you know, a guy that, you know, magna cum laude Mensa type of guy. He is that. And so plenty of went into his thought process and very analytical. And so, you know, I don't know if I answered the question, but I think, you know, which direction I'm kind of heading the thing. We're pretty fired up. Well, I mean, we're fired up about that because honestly, that needs to be the expectation at Oregon. You know, one of those classes is fine, but you need to put 2 and 3 and 4 together to make the team what you want it to be. And that was a lot of times at the previous place I worked at, people often asked, so what's the secret sauce? Well, the secret sauce was stacking 6 number 1 classes in a row together. You know, it makes yourself a different team. But I think that the recruiting season is a little bit different. It's completely apart, I should say, from the regular season and postseason play. I think that this game has absolutely everything to do with our team and our culture. Understanding that, you know, we've elevated in several areas this season in the program, and we have to take a significant step on how we play, the type of football we play when we're on the road, particularly against a team like Michigan State. Understanding that this is not a top 5, a top 10 defense against it. This is the number 1 run-stopping defense in America. And the pass defense isn't very far, but I know sometimes the statistics might get skewed because one side does so well, but they're one of the top defenses in America, period. And by far one of the most physical teams you'll see on tape. So this, the game itself, as opposed to the recruiting side of it, this in itself is its own entity. This is something that, you know, we have to show that we are capable of going on the road against an opponent like Michigan State and playing the brand of football that we want to play and be the type of program that we want to be. Well, they do everything that a top run stopping defense has to do. Number one, they're big and physical up front. And what I mean by that is they play with great pad level. They play with a flat back and get their hands inside, and they knock you back. They don't allow guys to get pushed on their defensive linemen. Partly that is personnel. The other part is just great coaching and technique. The second part is those linebackers are experienced, well-coached guys that are also physical. I mean, their footwork and the way they mirror the back, they're almost simultaneous in terms of the way they react along with the back's footwork. They literally mirror the back, his track, his angle. So they get downhill in a hurry. They're taking you off of double teams quickly. They mix in their pressures, and they do it in a fashion where they disguise it so well that it's hard for those big guys to get a tip that they are coming with pressure. So they'll catch you a step short, an angle that's off a little bit, and all of a sudden there's penetration, and you're in 2nd 11 and 2nd and 12. And they did it to everybody they played against, whether it be Ohio State, whether it be Penn State, you name it. They've had tremendous amount of success. The thing that often gets kind of lost in the whole thing is their offensive line is equally physical, and when they get it rolling, they're equally as effective as any of the other teams in the Big Ten. So we certainly respect and give credit to both sides, and that's why we have been training and working the way we have. We understand that this is certainly a different kind of test that we're facing.
Mario, what's the difference between this year's bowl week and just last year when you guys were coming off? I mean, you were still in the middle of the recruiting period.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was transition. I don't know if it was 10, 11 days out. We didn't know who was coming, who was going, you know, in terms of, you know, our staff, our people in the building. it was pretty chaotic. It really was. And because it was the first year of the early signing period, we really couldn't get out and make contact with those recruits to just reestablish or firm up the relationships we had. So we tried to squeeze in a visit right before we went to Las Vegas. And it was, I guess, organized chaos describes it best. That's what it was. That's what it was. We did our best, and we never pointed any fingers or gave any excuses why we didn't play so well or why, it was tough to manage the recruiting side of it. You're dealt those cards and do the best you can, and we did. We truly did. We just certainly we feel a lot more, I would say, settled now being a year in, having just a regular process leading into the contact period, signing day, and still having your time to prepare for your opponent. So two very different processes as it relates to the opponent and bowl time.
There's been so much talk today about next season with Justin coming back and the potential of 11 offensive starters in the recruiting class. How do you kind of compartmentalize that and get guys focused in on?
Sure. Well, I think Justin did that for us by making his announcement before we left Eugene. I mean, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted all the focus to be on this game. And our players have. They've done a good job with that, and so have we. And it's very easy once you look at the opponent, just when you mention the name of the opponent and then you watch them on tape, there are no distractions. We recognize, how good they are. And so our guys have done a really good job making sure that we're paying attention to the details that are required to prepare the right way for a game like this.
How much is your familiarity from a couple years ago with scouting and preparing for the state, obviously history with Mark and everything? How much has that helped maybe in the last couple of weeks?
I mean, there's some carryover, but a different personnel, right? And certainly we have different personnel than what we had at, when I was at Alabama. So there's some familiarity. I mean, you could lean on some of the stuff that you've seen in the past just to understand what they're doing from a schematic standpoint, just a base philosophy standpoint. And just like they have, you have so much time now to watch film that you're able to go back 2 and 3 years and just see where the overlaps are, to see if it's a consistent theme schematically, a consistent theme philosophically. And there's some carryover, but I don't think it's a game changer or a deal breaker as it relates to game planning them for this year. Mm-hmm. About kickoff coverage and punt coverage, without a doubt, and it all starts with ball placement. I'm a big believer in that, and we have been very inconsistent in how we place the ball and how we kick it. Now, we still stand by our guys. I don't ever want to come up at a press conference and say, hey, this guy's doing poorly or that guy's not doing his job. It's not what I'm saying at all. But we work at it together. The ball has to be placed better, and we have to be more physical in the way we attack the point of attack. So it's been a huge point of emphasis. We recognize it. Our return game was certainly better than our coverage teams, and it's a little bit of both the ball placement and the actual coverage teams themselves. With a couple guys back healthy, we expect to do a better job and recognize that these guys are really good at what they do. Yeah, at times, I mean, I think those guys, once they go to the next level, they're going to be asked to do a couple of different things, and I recognize that. He's, four eyes, the 4 eyes that you see at the next level are in the 320 range or whatnot, right? 6'6", 6'7", and he's just he's so strong, and he's so versatile, and he's so athletic that he's been effective everywhere we've put him. We've put him as a shade. We stood him up as a nose and pass rush sometimes on third down. We've done a lot of things with him, and we just think he's that kind of a player that, regardless of whether he fits the mold of that position or not, that we have to get him on the field and play him. And sometimes, even if it doesn't quite fit the specs for the position, but he's been really effective, and we've been extremely pleased with everything he's done.
During that time with KWBA, getting a lot of that obviously helps in the middle of the defense and what he brings. But just as a person, as a player, being that it's his senior year, kind of sensed it
Yeah, if you know Lana, you'll know what an awesome presence he is in every way, shape, or form imaginable. So having him back has been a huge boost. You especially feel it in practice because he does have that kind of juice and that kind of energy, and he gets everybody going, and everyone knows that everything about him and from him comes from the heart. There's no lie or head faking or nonsense to him. He's all about doing it the right way and being real about it. So having him back has been great. I know he's tough to block, so our offensive lineman may not be as pleased as I am that he's back, but it's awesome to have him back, and we expect him, and he expects himself to go out there and play his best football.
Matt, 24/7 Sports, you talked about preparing for Michigan State. How much is the off-the-field coaching staff, guys, your analysts that have helped in that? I don't think you guys have had a program with that many guys in that position.
Mhm.
How much of an impact does that?
Well, it helps when you're during the contact period, when you're trying to finalize the recruiting class and firm it up. When you come off the road, you have to jump right into practices. In fact, our last official visit included 3 practices. Well, our guys literally got back into Eugene, what was it, midnight Thursday night to start a Friday a.m. official visit. And the analysts and graduate assistants had done a great job of getting ahead and breaking down to be able to present the opponent to us in detail to, so to speak, ramp us up a little bit more quickly in our preparation. So, no, they're ultra valuable. And, guys like, all those guys, Gilbertson and Chance and Langsdorf, they've all, Kwame, they're exceptional at what they do, and they certainly we appreciate them.
Do you expect to expand that number of guys off the field?
Well, it depends on, we'll see. Those things are always helpful. They are. I think college football is going this way instead of that way, and kind of see what the trend is and how it goes. There's something being tabled as it relates to the analyst with the NCAA where they might actually be able to coach during the week but not coach on game day, which would be probably a game changer of sorts in terms of the way you stack your coaching staff, and your flow chart as it relates to your program. So we'll see. We're certainly, there's so many things going on, as you can see, but quite honestly, guys, with as much as we have to prove as a program, our complete focus has been strictly on the opponent and the game that we have coming up, and it needs to be. But those things, as soon as the game is come and gone, then we'll jump all over it.
One last question for Coach in the back.
Coach, I asked Coach D'Antonio about your past history that you guys had met. He said you hadn't until this trip. Your impressions of his coaching style and of him personally?
Well, it's hard to say that. I think everyone's followed Coach D'Antonio and what he has done, and I think his teams have always embodied what he stands for. It's not difficult to see. They're always going to be disciplined, physical, tough, and work hard and play hard. And he's at obviously a very well established and a great institution where they attract major league talent. So now all of those intangibles are matched with high level personnel, elite personnel. So it's a heck of a combination. I had the opportunity as an offensive line coach to coach against them in 15, and you know what? Yeah, the score is not indicative of the type of battle that was. I think we just happened to have a couple really fast guys outside that made some plays, but all the respect in the world for Coach and his program.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll bring up the Oregon players at this point. Coach, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.